Gus the Ghost and Mr. Frizzle ran the historical museum. Gus at night, Mr. Frizzle during the day. Mr. Frizzle lived upstairs. Gus had an attic apartment. Cora the cat lived here and there, and Mouse the mouse had his own private quarters. Late one night when Gus was in charge, Cora came in from a moonlight walk and said, "A baby ghost's outside."
Mom,
Sure enough, a baby ghost wrapped in a ghostly blanket lay on the step.
Mommy, I got no blessing or anything.
"What do I do with it?" Gus cried. "Wah!" cried the baby ghost. "Feed," said Cora. Grown-up ghosts never get hungry, but baby ghosts often do. Gus carried the baby ghost in its blanket into the old-fashioned kitchen and found some milk. "Warm," advised Cora. Gus warmed the milk. "Bottle," said Cora. Gus made some ghostly remarks, and a baby's bottle appeared. "Wah!" yelled baby ghost when the milk was gone. "Burp," advised Cora. Gus tossed baby ghost over his shoulder and patted until a bubble came up. "Wah!" "Change," directed Cora. Gus produced a clean diaper. "Ooh," said baby ghost contentedly when the diaper was changed. "Sleepy," said Cora. Gus had laid the baby ghost in the antique cradle and covered it with an old paisley shawl. When Mr. Frizzle came running downstairs, his bathrobe flying. "I thought I heard a baby," he cried. "Baby ghost," corrected Gus. "Where?" yelled Mr. Frizzle. "Cradle," said Gus. The cradle looked empty to Frizzle, but he could see that it was rocking gently. "What in thunder is it doing here?" he shouted. "Sleeping," said Gus. Mr. Frizzle, who had a terrible temper, began to shout and tell Gus he wouldn't have a baby ghost in his museum. Gus began to shout back, not knowing what else to do. Cora went under the Boston rocker, and Mouse scurried into the wall. Baby ghost waked up with all this noise and yelled, "Wah!" Cora yelled, "Meow!" Mouse snarled, "Shut up!" "Go to bed, Frizzle," shouted Gus. Finally, Mr. Frizzle pounded upstairs. When he had gone, Gus sat down with a sigh of relief in the Boston rocker, and Cora leaped into his lap. Gus rocked the cradle until baby ghost fell asleep. Gus understood how Mr. Frizzle felt. Frizzle was proud that many people came to see the museum, and he didn't want anything to frighten them away. Gus kept out of the way, but a crying baby ghost might not. "I'll do something tomorrow," thought Gus. He fell asleep, rocking the cradle. Baby ghost slept, and Cora slept. Only Mouse whisked about, busily looking for a crumb or something. When daylight came, Gus warmed another bottle for baby ghost. "Bath," advised Cora. Gus got a baby bathtub and filled it with warm, ghostly water. Baby ghost was so cute, splashing and happily gurgling, that Gus began to feel happy himself. When he had it all dry and smelling of ghostly talcum powder, he decided he would like to keep this little baby ghost. "But I can't keep it in my attic apartment," he told himself. "It has to sleep in the cradle. Besides, my ghostly bones are too old to run upstairs with bottles." He carried the baby ghost back to the cradle. "Wah!" cried baby ghost, who was hungry again. Down came Frizzle, full of fury. "It's still here," he cried. "Shh," said Gus. "Call the police," shouted Mr. Frizzle. "Very funny," said Ghost. "Wah!" said baby ghost. Mr. Frizzle called the police himself. "There's a baby ghost at the historical museum. Come and get it." "Beg pardon?" said the police. "I want to get rid of a baby ghost," shouted Mr. Frizzle. Two policemen came. "What seems to be the trouble?" they said. "We got a baby ghost," said Mr. Frizzle. "Are you feeling all right, Mr. Frizzle?" asked the police. "I feel fine," shouted Frizzle. "Show us this baby ghost," said the policeman politely. But Gus decided that he was going to scare the policeman away. He raced upstairs and brought down his bang clank equipment, which he kept in case somebody wanted to hear a ghost clanking around. Bang, clank, went Gus in on his bang clank equipment. "Wah!" yelled baby ghost at the noise. The policemen turned pale and bumped into each other, rushing out of the door. Just then an early visitor arrived. "Keep that quiet," hissed Frizzle. Gus snatched the baby ghost from the cradle and gave it a bottle. He sang a gopher lullaby until he went to sleep. Frizzle felt calmer when the visitor left, without knowing that they had a baby ghost. He said in a reasonable voice, "Now, Gus, you know you've got to get rid of it." "If I keep it quiet," Gus thought craftily, "Frizzle will never know it's here." "Leave it to me, Frizzle," he said, when Frizzle went off, reassured. Then Gus got a book on the care and feeding of baby ghosts. He ordered milk from the milkman and put in supplies of baby food, ghostly diapers, and talcum powder to keep baby ghosts comfy. He found a ghostly rattle and other toys to keep it amused. He oiled the antique music box so it played tinkly tunes that Baby Ghost liked to hear. Baby Ghost was content and didn't cry. But one day, Mr. Frizzle, who thought that the Baby Ghost was gone, happened to be passing the cradle when he heard a soft "coo." He stopped short and stared at the cradle. "You didn't get rid of it," he shouted. "Wah!" cried the Baby Ghost, alarmed at the noise. "Meow!" yelled Cora, alarmed by Baby Ghost. "Listen, Frizzle," yelled Gus. Then he lowered his voice. "If you would control your temper, everything would be fine." Finally, Mr. Frizzle sat in the Boston rocker, not knowing what else to do. He lowered his voice, too, and said, "Humph, humph." He stared at the cradle, which still looked empty to him. "Do you swear it won't cry and ruin business?" he demanded. "If you don't come roaring around here," Gus retorted. "Humph," said Mr. Frizzle. Then Gus put a large sign, "Quiet, please," to remind Mr. Frizzle. Mr. Frizzle began to talk to visitors in hushed tones. He stopped shouting at Gus. He didn't even say "humph" because he didn't want to make the Baby Ghost cry and alarm the people. But Gus saw him glance at the cradle sometimes, and he knew that Mr. Frizzle was nervous. One day Mr. Frizzle was telling a lady visitor in hushed tones so he wouldn't wake the Baby Ghost, "This is an antique cradle." Suddenly, Mr. Frizzle, the visitor, and Gus, who was nearby, were startled to hear quite plainly, "Ooh." "Have you got a baby ghost?" the lady cried. "Certainly not," cried Frizzle. "Oh, I wish you had a baby ghost," said the lady sadly. Frizzle looked at the lady in surprise. He eyed her suspiciously. Was she joking? He tried to please the visitors to his museum. So finally Frizzle said cautiously,
Mouse. There's the mouse. Cora is trying to get that mouse.
You think so, huh?
Mm-hmm.
"We might have a small baby ghost." The lady rushed off to tell her friends that this wonderful, delightful historical museum had something very special, a real baby ghost. Soon crowds of people came, tiptoed in, and stood waiting to hear the Baby Ghost in the antique cradle under the old paisley shawl say, "Ooh." "Your Baby Ghost sounds so happy," everyone whispered. Mr. Frizzle proudly whispered back, "Our Baby Ghost has a happy home. That's why." Before long, Baby Ghost was a permanent member of the household. Sometimes when the museum closed after a busy day, Mr. Frizzle sat in the Boston rocker in rare good humor. Cora leaped onto his lap. Mouse kept as quiet as a mouse, and Mr. Frizzle rocked the cradle while Gus hung out the Baby Ghost's ghostly washing in the evening air. The end.
Gus Rex and they're not yelling no more.
Yes.
They'll be quiet.
There's some pages missing here. You think we can read that book with pages missing? It wouldn't be near so much fun as if we read one that's got the whole book. Would it? It's kind of a big book. Let's read a smaller one tonight. Okay?
This one's small, but it has so many pages.
Which one? This one? Let's try this one, shall we? What spot?
I'm going to tune them for you.
Okay. Far away in the north, in the ice and the snow, by the sea with sailing ships, a walrus walked. At last he sat down and looked out to the sea with the sailing ships. Then he looked at the snow, and he looked, and he looked, for there was a spot in the snow. It was a small black spot in the white, white snow. "Now, there is a thing," the walrus cried. "There is a thing in the snow. I wonder what it can be." The walrus began to think. While he was thinking, a puffin came and sat down. "What are you looking at?" the puffin asked. "That spot," said the walrus. "What spot?" asked the puffin. "That spot," said the walrus. "I don't see a spot," said the puffin. "I don't see a spot at all. I see snow and ice and sea and sky." "Show me the spot," said the puffin. "That black spot out there," the walrus said. "Out where?" asked the puffin. "Out there," said the walrus. "Oh, there," said the puffin. Yeah, puffin's a little bird.
Mm-hmm.
"Yes, there," said the walrus. "That black spot out there in the white, white snow." "Oh, that spot," said the puffin. "Why, it's nothing, nothing at all." "How do you know?" asked the walrus. "A spot is a spot," said the puffin. "That's all a spot is. It's a spot." The walrus was not sure. "I'm going to see what that spot is," he said. "I'm going to see if that spot's just a spot." I told you, said the puffin, but the walrus did not hear. As the puffin ran after him, I told you, he cried. It's nothing, nothing at all. But the spot was not a spot. The walrus had told the puffin so. The spot is a thing deep under the snow with only its nose sticking out, said the walrus. I wonder what it can be.
Wagon.
It's nothing, nothing at all, said the puffin.
Wagon.
A wagon? The walrus began to dig and the puffin looked out to sea. The walrus dug a little bit. The puffin turned to look. It's nothing, nothing at all, said the puffin, and that's not its nose sticking out. The walrus looked. The puffin looked. They looked for a long, long time. The walrus began to dig some more and the puffin looked out to sea. Turn the page. It's a sea snake, cried the walrus, and it's lying here under the snow. The puffin looked. The walrus looked. They looked for a long, long time. It's nothing, nothing at all, said the puffin. Sea snakes swim in the sea. Sea snakes never swim in the snow. You are right, said the walrus sadly. He dug some more and the puffin looked out to sea. After a while, the walrus cried, Hey! Hey, cried the walrus. I know what it is. It's a great big bird. It's bigger than you. The puffin looked. The walrus looked. They looked for a long, long time. It's nothing, nothing at all, said the puffin. Birds fly over the snow, not under the snow. You are right, said the walrus sadly. He dug some more and the puffin looked out to sea. After a while the walrus stopped. Well, he said, it has 2 eyes and a very long nose, but I don't know what it is.
Could be a wagon.
It could be a wagon.
Hmm?
The puffin looked. The walrus looked. They looked for a long, long time. It's nothing, nothing at all, said the puffin. But the walrus dug some more. It's snowing, said the walrus. I must hurry. A long time passed. The walrus dug. The snow fell, and the puffin looked out to sea. The puffin looked out to sea. The snow fell. The walrus dug, and a long, long time passed. At last, the walrus stopped. He looked at the thing. He looked some more. I don't know what this is, he said. The puffin looked. The walrus looked. They looked for a long, long time. It's nothing, nothing at all, said the puffin. It's something, cried the walrus. What can we do with it? Nothing, nothing at all, said the puffin. And he hopped on the thing to see it better. I told you it was not a sea snake, said the puffin. I told you it was not a bird. There are no eyes. There is no long nose. It's nothing, nothing at all. The wind blew hard and the thing began to roll. It rolled away from the walrus. The puffin rolled away with it. They rolled faster and faster over the snow, faster and faster over the ice by the sea with the sailing ships.
Mommy, this illustrates.
The puffin passed a polar bear who was taking a bath in the sea. Help, cried the puffin. Don't worry, cried the polar bear. It's nothing, nothing at all. The puffin passed a seal who was playing with a snowflake. Help, cried the puffin. Don't worry, cried the seal. It's nothing, nothing at all. The puffin passed a dog who was rolling snowballs with his nose. Help, cried the puffin. Don't worry, cried the dog. It's nothing, nothing at all.
It's a wagon.
The puffin passed a reindeer who was dancing in the wind. Help, cried the puffin. Don't worry, cried the reindeer. It's nothing, nothing at all.
It's a wagon.
The puffin passed a whale who was resting on a wave. Help, cried the puffin. Don't worry, cried the whale. It's nothing, nothing at all. The wind blew the puffin around and around. It blew him back to the walrus. Help, cried the puffin. I'll help you, said the walrus. But it was too late. There was a hole that the walrus had dug. The thing rolled in. The puffin rolled in. Snow fell on top of him. All you could see was the end of his nose. The polar bear came out of his bath. What are you looking at? The polar bear asked. That spot, said the walrus. What spot? Asked the polar bear. That spot, said the walrus. I don't see a spot, said the polar bear. That black spot out there, said the walrus. Out where? Asked the polar bear. Out there, said the walrus. Oh, there, said the polar bear. Yes, there, said the walrus. The black spot out there in the white, white snow is no spot. It's a puffin, I know. Walrus ran over and began to dig. He dug and he dug, faster and faster and faster. There was a puffin under the snow, and there was a thing under the puffin. The walrus knew what they must do, and the puffin knew it too. We must do it, said the walrus. Yes, we must do it, said the puffin, and they did. They picked up the thing and threw it into the sea. The walrus and the puffin sat side by side and watched the spot sail out to sea. The spot grew smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until it was nothing. Nothing at all. And they never knew they had a toy wagon, did they? Let's have the Night Before Christmas book.
I'm just tired.
You're just tired. Well, we'll read this one. We'll say our night prayers and we'll go to bed, okay?
Mommy, I'll give you get one more book.
No, I think this will be the last one. Come on, let's listen to this one.
Only one more.
It was the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
The stockings were hung by the chimney of cake and hope statement. The tin wheel stuck into bed by bits and a stick of puff sauce and his mommy's kiss up on my couch. This fell down for a moment. Mommy, I want you to read it.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Mommy will read it. Sounds like Kaya knows it pretty good, though. It was the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there.
I want to help Mom.
The children were nestled all snug in their bed, while visions of sugar plums danced in their head.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, 6.
And Mama in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled down for a long winter's nap.
Mommy, I read cake.
When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the newfound snow gave a luster of midday to objects
Mom,
below.
I got a lot of company in there today. Mom, this is the old maid, the snowman, but
When what to my wandering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricanes fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkle I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler, just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as snow. A stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke, it encircled his head like a wreath.
Like that. This is why, that's why, this is why.
He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, laying a finger aside of his nose and giving a nod. Up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew, like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim as he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night."
Okay, one more.
One more? It's kind of late. We'll have to read quick. Crispy and the Happy Birthday Band. Every year Tim looked forward to his birthday, but it seemed like something always went wrong. One year he got the measles and gave it to everyone. The year after that, the basement was flooded and spoiled his party.
Mommy, let me change the pages for you.
The next year, Tim was supposed to go to an amusement park with his friends, but it rained the whole day. This year will be different, Tim's parents promised. Tim sure hoped it would be. He peeked in drawers and listened at doorways, hoping to get a clue about a birthday celebration. He thought he might even find a new harmonica he was hoping for, but he didn't find a trace of party plans or presents. One page at a time. When the day finally came, Tim jumped out of bed and ran downstairs. His parents and his sister Karen were already having breakfast. "Good morning," they said, as if it were any other day. Nobody shouted, "Happy birthday," or started to sing. They'd forgotten, Tim thought sadly as he ate his breakfast. Soon Tim's family rushed off to their Saturday chores and left him alone at the table. Tim sat by himself in the quiet kitchen and a big lonely tear ran down his cheek. Then he heard a strange sound. "What is that?" Tim wondered, and he held his breath and listened. It was music, but it wasn't coming from the radio. Tim followed the sound to the cabinet, where he saw the most amazing thing, a band of tiny animals playing happy music. Tim rubbed his eyes and blinked, but the animals were still there, proudly playing their instruments. At the end of the song, the funny little piano player exclaimed, "Ah-cha-cha-cha!" "Who? What?" Tim stammered. "An audience," Crispy declared happily. "My name's Tim," Tim managed to say. "Let me introduce myself. I'm Crispy, and this is the Crispy Critters Cereal Band," said the piano player. Then all at once the other animals played a chord on their instruments and took a little bow. "I've never heard of an animal band before," said Tim. "Neither had we, but indubitably here we are," said Crispy, "and we've made up a song about it." Tim listened with astonishment as the band started to play. "Most sheep like to bleat, but I like to keep the beat," said Sam the ram with a roll of his drums. "Lions always roar, but I like singing more," Brian the lion sang. Then Camille the camel and Dewey the donkey sang a duet. "We'd rather play than bray." And Zippo the hippo sang, "I like the piccolo because it sounds so mellow. It sounds so different from the hippo's loud bellow." The animals stopped suddenly in the middle of their song. "What's the matter?" asked Crispy. "Don't you like our song?" "You're really great," Tim replied, but he didn't sound very excited. "Is something wrong?" Crispy asked gently. "I've got 2 furry ears just made for listening." Tim explained what seemed to happen on his birthday every year. He added gloomily, "But this year is the worst. No one's even remembered my birthday." With that, Crispy struck a note on his piano, and the other animals quickly joined him in a joyous version of "Happy Birthday to You." "Hey, wait for me," said Tim, pulling out his old harmonica out of his pocket. It wasn't the big new one he was hoping for, but the sound was still quite nice. All morning Tim and his new animals played music together. They were having such a good time that Tim forgot all about his birthday until his mother called from downstairs. "Tim, come to the basement, please. I need your help in folding laundry." "Chores on my birthday," Tim muttered crossly. He went sadly to the basement. "Mom," Tim called into the darkness at the top of the stairs. Then he clicked on the light switch and, surprise! All of Tim's friends and relatives were there in the basement, which was covered with bright paper streamers.
We're already there.
And filled with balloons and presents. There was even a big cake with candles. Tim's father handed him a brightly wrapped package. "Open it," he urged. Did you think we'd forgotten? Tim tore open the paper, and inside the box he found a shiny new harmonica that made beautiful sounds. Tim couldn't wait to play a tune on it, so he started with one of the songs that he had been practicing with the animal band. Before he finished the song, the Crispy Critters cereal band joined him. They played all afternoon, and everyone danced, clapped, and tapped their feet to the music. "Ah-cha-cha!" exclaimed Crispy. "Indubitably, we are a hit."
Mommy, wait, both of these hands.
Indubitably, Tim stammered. "Indubitably," Crispy corrected. Tim declared, "This is the best birthday anyone ever had."
Mommy, I need to count the candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Very good. Angel of God, my guardian dear. Let's pray.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Let's pray now, okay? Angel of God, my guardian dear, to whom God's love and trust me here, ever this night be at my side, to light and guard, to rule and guide. Amen. Our Father, who art
It's on.
wild animals. The father lion watches over the mother lion and her cub.
It's not going to stay on.
A water buffalo and a hippopotamus stand in the cool river. The flamingos make their nests at its edge. The skunk will eat a butterfly if he can catch it. The woodchuck likes grass and leafy plants. Where is the home for the rhinoceros? An African plain. Zebras live there too. The zebras running around the pasture. The bear family enjoys a tasty meal of berries.
Elephant.
Mother elephant and her little one tramp through the jungle. A mother chimpanzee holds her baby's hand. The pygmy chimpanzee climbs a tree. Tiger kittens romp while mother tiger listens and watches. The camel plods through the sand. Camels do not seem to mind the desert heat. The seal with its pup and polar bear with its cub live in the icy Arctic. You know what the Arctic is? It's real cold.
Oh, that's why.
The shaggy llamas live in a meadow high in the mountains. The koalas climb a tree to eat a meal of leaves. The koalas live in Australia.
Yeah.
And the llamas live up in the mountains like where Kathy went to Uruguay, and the llamas down there in South America.
Camels are in the desert.
That's right. Tigers are in the jungle.
I know that. And chimpanzees are in the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course they that. And elephants are in the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
Bears are in the jungle.
Yeah, they're in the trees in the woods anyway.
And these are in Africa.
Yeah, I think so. Where are they?
Zebras and rhinoceros.
That's right. It says on an African plain.
I know what this go we want. And jungle.
Well,
And Africa.
they're even in America. Sometimes even out on the tree, out on the road. Sometimes we see them.
I don't see a skunk that much.
But where's this one?
Australia.
No. Where is it, Kaya?
Jungle.
Yeah. Which jungle? What country?
The other one that you showed me. Iowa. Africa.
This one's in Africa, yeah.
Yeah.
Hippopotamus lives in Africa.
Lions live in the jungle.
Mm-hmm. They might live in Africa too. Okay.
Okay, let's go to my book. My turn.
I'm not sleepy.
I'm not sleepy.
It was nearing Jill's bedtime. Mom said, "Time to get ready for bed, Jill." "But I'm not sleepy," said Jill. "I want to play with Jelly Bean." "Jelly Bean is under my chair," said Dad. "He's fast asleep." "Jelly Bean played with his toy mouse all day," said Jill. "I guess it made him sleepy." "But I'm not sleepy." Jill asked if she could play with Mimi, the little poodle who belonged to Mrs. D next door.
D.
"Well, it's bedtime, but I have to return a pie pan to Mrs. D," said Mom.
Mommy,
"You can come with me."
Mommy, wait, what the say
Mrs. D.
Oh, Mrs. D. Here says Mrs. D. It says D on her mailbox.
Mm-hmm.
Can I see?
They walked
Oh, yeah, D.
through the little iron gate to Mrs. D's house. Jill rang the bell. Mrs. D opened the door. Hello, Mrs. D, Jill said. May I play with Mimi? Come in, said Mrs. D. Let's look for her. They found Mimi all snuggled up in her basket. Mimi's gone to bed, said Mrs. D. I know why Mimi is sleepy, Jill said. She chased butterflies all afternoon. But I'm not sleepy. Jill and Mom said goodnight to Mrs. D. Now it was dark outside. By the light of the street lamp, Mom saw a pair of sparrows asleep on Mr. Zinn's attic windowsill. Look, Jill, said Mom. Even the sparrows have gone to bed. Yes, said Jill. They flew all day. That's why they're sleepy. But I'm not sleepy.
Those sparrows are called birds.
They're one kind of birds, aren't they? When they got home, Mom said, it's time to get ready for bed, Jill. First, my fish have to go to bed, said Jill. They swam all day and they're sleepy. Jill turned off the light in the fish tank. Go to sleep, little fishes, she said. Now my dolls have to go to bed, said Jill. They played lots of games at Teddy Bear's birthday party. They are very sleepy. Jill went to her room and put Amanda and Melissa in their doll beds.
I think this one's Amanda and Melissa because she said Amanda and Melissa.
Now go to sleep, she said. Just then Dad came into Jill's room. Are you getting ready for bed, he asked. I'm not sleepy, said Jill, but Teddy is. I'll put him to bed. Jill put Teddy into her own bed.
Mommy, can I give you some cough drop there?
I've got a cup right here, thank you.
In my mouth?
Now you go to sleep, she said.
Can I smell? What do you do? Ooh.
Then Jill yawned. I think you're getting sleepy, said Dad. No, I'm not sleepy, but I'll put on my pajamas. Jill put on her pajamas. She even washed her face and brushed her teeth. Mom came into the room. Are you sleepy now, asked Mom. No, I'm not sleepy, said Jill, but you could read Teddy Bear a story. He's not asleep yet. Sure, said Mom. I think I'll get into bed with Teddy while you read to him, said Jill. Okay, said Mom. Jill climbed into bed and cradled Teddy Bear in her arms. Now listen to the story, Teddy, Jill said, yawning.
Sorry, Kayla.
Mom began reading. Jill began to close her eyes. Soon she was fast asleep. Mom tucked Jill in and gave her a kiss. Good night, sleepyhead, she said. Now you're sleepy.
So did Mommy. And so did Mommy, so did Moon and the stars.
Oh, okay.
See?
Me and the yellow-eyed monster. Who's me?
The alligator.
Oh, is it? This book was written especially for Darren Kriener with love for Mom and Dad.
That's because Calvin had the other, like, in the big book.
Calling Darren Kriener. Darren, come in. Zap and Darren, Private Eyes. It was the darkest part of the night. Zap, Private Eyes, screeched to a halt outside his partner's office. Darren, he shouted, a monster's loose in Lawler. Calm down, Zap, Darren told him. There's no case we haven't solved yet, and no monster we can't catch. He knocks over garbage cans, says Zap, as he climbed through the window. He breaks the branches of the trees. He stares at people with his yellow eyes. Hurry, Darren, no time to lose. Darren got his detective disguise so no one would recognize him. He put a mop over his head.
This one's stained. I can't
And dark
see
glasses over his eyes. He wrapped himself in a blanket. He wore gloves over his hand. What does the monster look like, he asked. No one knows, said Zap. No one has seen anything but those horrible yellow eyes. Just then he looked up at the window. There they were, the yellow eyes. That's him, yelled Zap. Get him. Head him off at the kitchen. Missed. Rats. Darren grabbed and missed. Zap snatched and spun around, but the monster got away. Banana peels. Keep those for Exhibit A. Good grief, he's eaten every banana in the kitchen. They followed the monster into the kitchen, but he was already gone. Watch out, Zap said. He's trying to trip us. He's fast. A hurricane. He's smart. A computer. He's very hungry. A starving wolf? Let's get help. Then they began to think. The monster was fast. He was smart. He was hungry. And worst of all, he was right in the neighborhood. They had to get outside help. Monster alert! Prepare for danger! Citizens of Lawler, be on the alert! Special friends and pets of Darren, take care! Carrie, Dixie, Mom and Dad, stay inside. Darren called the police. He told them to declare a statewide monster alert. All of Iowa's in danger, especially Lawler. He's scary. He's worse than we thought. He's awful. Zapp called the TV station. He gave them a description of the monster. Then he turned on the news. They were showing pictures of what the monster might look like. The announcer said, "This monster must be caught." The telephone rang. Carrie said, "Why not catch the monster in a big net?" The telephone rang again. A friend said, "Why not catch him in a hole?" The telephone rang again. Another friend said, "Make a wall that he can't climb over." Then Darren had a better idea. A monster trap. When he takes the banana, the alarm will go off. They hung a banana on the trap to tempt the monster.
This is the monster trap.
Mm-hmm. Then they turned out the lights and waited and listened. Did you hear that? What, Darren? I heard a noise. Was it Dixie? I don't think so. It must be him. Oh! Look, Zapp, we caught the monster. Monster? That's a monkey. No wonder he likes bananas. Zapp turned on the lights. A mysterious yellow-eyed monster with a small yellow-eyed baby monkey. He was lost. The monster alert was ended. The monster was returned to his mother, and Darren and Zapp were heroes. Darren felt brave and happy. Another case closed, another job. Well done. Darren, Kreener, and Zapp saved Lawler. Hooray for Zapp and Darren. Congratulate Darren. Congratulations, Zapp. The end.
He's a stick. The best.
Where did baby go?
I read this book. Oh, Mommy, something.
Mm-hmm.
Mommy, I want Mommy, yeah, I hope it's on there.
Once was a little girl who always and forever asking questions. How do birds fly? Why can't I touch the sky? What makes flowers grow? Where do snowflakes come from? One day, when the little girl was wandering about, thinking up new questions, she saw something lying on the table.
Mommy, will you right back?
When she picked it up, she saw that it was a picture of a baby, a round, happy-looking baby wearing a big, floppy hat. She ran to show her mother what she had found. "Who is it?" the little girl asked. "Can't you guess?" replied her mother. "No," said the little girl. "Have I ever seen this baby?" "Yes, in a way. You used to see her every single day." "I did?" "You did." The little girl thought very hard. "Where did the baby go?" she asked. "Well," said her mother, "when she first lived here, she didn't go anywhere at all. She spent most of the day sleeping." The little girl was quiet for a moment. Then she jumped up and ran into her room. She looked in her little pink and white bed, but there was no baby. She looked in her father and mother's big blue bed, but there was no baby. She looked in the corner of the kitchen where Duke slept on the cushion, but there was no baby. Where did baby go?
Honey, look, I'm having a sleep now. Did you see?
I can't find her, the little girl said when she came back to her mother. "Oh, she stopped being a sleepyhead quite a while ago," said her mother. Soon after, she began to crawl all over the house like a brand new puppy. "Then I'll just go where Duke used to go when he was a puppy," said the little girl. She crawled behind the couch, and there she found 3 shiny pennies, but there was no baby. She crawled into the dining room table, and there she found Duke's rubber bone, but there was no baby.
Where did baby go?
"I still can't find it," the little girl said impatiently.
He was sad because he found it.
Are you sure?" asked her mother. "She doesn't crawl around like a puppy anymore. Now she likes to play games." "Games!" cried the little girl, clapping her hands. "What kind of games?" "One of her favorites is hide and seek." "That's one of my favorites. I'll go and look in all the good hiding places." She looked in the hall closet and out tumbled Daddy Snowboots, but there was no baby. She looked behind the living room curtains.
But there's no baby. Where did baby go?
There was her yellow teddy bear, but there was no baby. Where did baby go? "That baby isn't anywhere," the little girl said sadly to her mother. "I think that if you look one more time, you'll find her." I'll just give you one hint. She likes to dress up in my clothes, her mother said. The little girl dashed to her mother's closet and flung open the door. She searched among the dresses.
But there's no baby. These the boxes of the hairs that she's going to try.
She searched among the shoes.
But there's no baby. She's going to check under there and see if there's a baby.
She searched among the hats.
But there's
What
no
was
baby.
this? Here was the hat that Baby was wearing in the picture. The little girl sat on the floor in front of the full-length mirror and tried on the hat. She turned this way and that, admiring herself. Suddenly, she looked closer at the face peering out at her from under the hat. My eyes are blue, just like that baby, she said to herself. And my nose looks just like that baby's too, only bigger. I even smile like that baby. I look just like that baby, she said out loud, only I'm bigger.
Mommy, every time I close and open it, it seems to get stuck.
Maybe they're cold in it. Running back to her mother, the little girl cried out happily, Mommy, I know where that baby went. You do, said her mother, pretending to look all around the room. Where is she? Where is she?
Here I am. He is the baby now.
The little girl said, and she ran and jumped into her mother's arms, feeling very pleased with herself. The end. Do you have another book?
Yeah, she had another book. It's
What's
Raggedy Ann and Andy. Yeah.
Leave it. Raggedy Ann and Andy.
We're gonna get the whole story. Don't you look, Mom?
Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy. Monday, we run to the park to play. They got their play clothes on, don't they?
Yeah. Tuesday, we
In our
went to
flower
our
garden.
We pick a bouquet.
Got their sunsuits on there.
Wednesday, these are suits.
Yep.
And Wednesday, they clean up the playroom. I know that one. Wednesday, we take broom and sweep up our playroom. We take a broom and clean our playroom.
That's right.
That's just one. Thursday we eat good
Thursday
Thursday and
is
a good day for fishing in the water.
stream.
Stream.
Stream. And they got their overalls on, don't they, when they're going fishing?
Same. They had the same things.
Same kind of overalls, don't they?
And same kind of shirts. Mommy.
Yeah.
Mommy, I would have a blue and that kind of dress on and that and pink one.
Pink ice cream cone?
Mommy, here's kind of bigger hair.
Friday we see zoo animals and eat
Ice cream. No. It's Sunday we walked by the beach, by the sea.
That's Saturday.
Saturday, we take a walk by the beach. Yeah.
On
On Sunday, we go and tea. We dress Sunday. We dress up and go to tea.
There they get their Sunday best clothes on, don't they?
Yes. Let's see here.
An easy paper doll book, especially planned for very little girls.
I'll
Do it on the floor.
How come they put this little girl, no little boy?
Oh, because they probably think little boys don't like those. But sometimes little boys like those, don't they? Doesn't have to be just for little girls, does it? Sometimes it could be for little boys too.
How come they didn't put any little boy rag?
I don't know. We got a little Raggedy Andy as a little boy.
I gotta go get a vitamin.
Should we say our prayers first?
Angel of God, my guardian dear, to whom God's love and trust me here. Ever this night be at my side, to light and guard, to rule and guide. Amen.
God bless
Daddy and Mommy and Keisha and Kaya and Darren and Kara and Carrie and Kathy and Dan and Dave and Patty and Yolanda and Mandy and Linda and
Grandpa
and Grandma
and Grandma.
Grandma Kramer,
Jason
and
and
Jenny,
Jenny.
and Gail, and Jerry, and Jackie.
And all the other people in the whole wide world, huh?
I know what Gail is, your sister.
That's right. She's your aunt, isn't she?
Yeah, and Jason and Jenny and Jack are her kids, and they're my cousins.
That's right. So we pray for them, don't we?
Yeah.
You know, oh my God.
You know what? Which one's my favorite in their family?
Which one?
Jackie.
Jackie is.
Yeah, she's cute.
She is. So is Jason and Jennifer too, aren't they?
Thank you.
You gonna come and say your prayers with us?
I gotta go get a tinkle on
You gonna say Hail Mary?
Hail Mary, first and Lord of the
Come here. Let's start over. Hail Mary. Hail Mary. Let's start over with the Hail Mary.
Hail
Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and in the hour of our death. Amen.
I mean, all those bird books at church, they also have Hail Mary.
Now do bird books?
You know those books?
Our missiles?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
None of the missiles that are blue.
The blue one. Oh no.
I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about these size ones, not the white one, the red one.
They
No,
got the
wait,
Hail Mary
we're
in them too.
going to set
That's
it
right,
off.
they got the
And
They got
do
the
it
song
on
Hail Mary
TV
in it.
before we go to bed. I know it.
Yeah.
Mom, can we do that on TV before we go to bed?
What?
Or that thing that we read a book with?
Do what on TV?
On that.
Oh, no. We're not gonna do that.
Are we going to do it? Are we going to do it tomorrow?
Sometime.
My pink book? No, in there. On TV. Oh, my stomach hurts.
No.
Oh, my stomach hurts.
It does. You gonna say something first? Angel of God.
And till we get up there.
Let me see him now.
Angel God, God is so much God. God, just me here. It's like yeah, thank you. I ain't got to worry God. Amen. Our Father, right in heaven, hallowed be our name. Our kingdom come, I will be done, and it's in heaven. Give us daily daily bread, and forgive us our trespass. If we give those trespasses against us, and temptation, but deliver us from evil. Holy name, my God, pray for us. Now on its side, amen.
Mom. You have to start with the Hail Mary though. You did a really good. Keisha, don't do that.
I'm going to put the lens cap on.
That's not very nice. You forgot to start with the Hail Mary, but you did a really good job of praying the Our Father all by yourself.
Mom, we're not going to get a flower.
Well, maybe for your birthday.
Daddy couldn't get one for her birthday. She got it this week.
You suppose maybe you'll get one for your birthday?
I don't know when my...
You don't know when your birthday's gonna come? Your birthday's going to come in about, let me see, what's today, the 18th? 12 more days.
I know. I think yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Good job.
That's going to be 12.
How old is Keisha going to be when her birthday comes, I wonder?
6.
6. 12 more days. Keisha's going to be 6.
But I'm still going to be in school.
I don't mess with that. What are you going to take for treats to school, you think?
Oh, I
So
see
think of something,
Mom.
won't we?
Keisha. I saw Mom.
Yeah, don't mess with it.
Keisha.
No. Which storybook is first?
My turn this night.
Okay. Mother Goose.
Mother Goose. She always has these silly ideas.
The Queen of Hearts.
Gus, the Ghost.
Are you going to listen? The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts, all on a summer's day. The Knave of Hearts, he stole those tarts and ran with them away. The King of Hearts called for those tarts and beat the Knave full sore. The Knave of Hearts brought back those tarts and said he'd steal no more. Hey, diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon. The little dog laughed to see such sport, and the dish ran away with the spoon.
I could do it all by myself. Okay. Hey, diddle diddle, the cow jumped over the moon. The little dog laughed to see a sport like that. The dish ran away with the spoon.
Cross patch, draw the latch, sit by the fire and spin. Take a cup and drink it up and call your neighbors in.
Mommy, this what you reading now?
Little Jack Horner sat in a corner eating his Christmas pie. He put in his thumb and pulled out a plum and said, "What a good boy am I."
Now read this one.
Jack Sprat could eat no fat, his wife could eat no lean. So betwixt them both, you see, they licked the pale eye clean.
No, read this one first.
No, we gotta start on this page. Little Betty Blue lost her holiday shoe. What shall little Betty do? Buy her another to match the other, then she'll walk in two. Here I am, little jumping Joan, when nobody's with me, I'm always alone. Deedle deedle dumpling, my son John, went to bed with his stockings on, one shoe off and one shoe on. Deedle deedle dumpling, my son John.
Now can you do this one?
This little pig went to market. This little pig stayed home. This little pig had roast beef. This little pig had none. This little pig cried wee 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 all the way home.
Because the wolf was chasing him.
Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. It followed her to school one day, which was against the rule. It made the children laugh and play to see a lamb at school.
Mommy, now can you put this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait. And then now I need to count.
Now you the count.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pieces.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I caught a hare alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I let him go again. You know what a hare is?
It's a rabbit.
That's right. Jack be nimble.
Jack be quick. Jack jumped over the candlestick.
Peter, Peter, pumpkin eater.
Mommy, that's Bambi.
Peter, pumpkin eater, had a wife and couldn't keep her. He put her in a pumpkin shell, and there he kept her very well. Handy pandy Jack, a dandy, loved plum cake and sugar candy.
Hey, that's junk food.
And that's right. He bought some at the grocery shop and out he came. Hop, hop, hop. This is the way the ladies ride. Trot, 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 trot. This is the way the gentlemen ride. Gallop a trot, gallop a trot. This is the way the farmers ride. Hobbly hoy, hobbly hoy.
I read that one. I read this book one time all by myself.
You did.
Without knowing reading with you, this I know this one. My blankie.
Simple Simon met a pieman going to the fair. Says Simple Simon to the pieman, let me taste your ware.
Mommy, can you do this one first?
That's what we're doing. Says Simple Simon to the pieman, show me first your penny. Says Simple Simon to the pieman,
Mommy.
indeed, I have not any.
Mommy, smell.
Yeah.
Mommy, Mommy, wash the cans. Mommy.
You're welcome. He went to catch a dicky bird and thought he could not fail because he got a little salt to put upon his tail.
My way now when I was say.
You don't. Simple Simon went a fishing for to catch a whale. All the water he got was in his mother's pail. He went for water in a sieve, but soon it all ran through, and now poor Simple Simon bids you all adieu. Ding dong bell, pussy's in the well. Who put her in? Little Johnny Green. Who pulled her out? Big Johnny Stout. What a naughty boy was that to try and drown poor pussy cat who never did him any harm. He killed the mice in his father's barn.
Mommy, he dropped that cat in he that's Pinocchio. I know. I need to say, oh wait. Okay, he put him in the cat. Don't.
Come on, let's get.
Okay, he put it in, and his wife got him out.
A dillar, a dollar, a 10 o'clock scholar. What makes you come so soon? You used to come at 10 o'clock. Now you come at noon. Bobby Shaft has gone to sea. Silver buckles at his knee. He'll come back and marry me. Pretty Bobby Shafto. What's that going to look like on a picture? There were two blackbirds. No, this. In the mouth. There were two blackbirds sitting on a hill. One named Jack, the other named Jill. Fly away, Jack. Fly away, Jill. Come again, Jack. Come again, Jill. Oh, King Cole was a merry old soul, and a merry old soul was he. He called for his pipe, and he called for his bowl, and he called for his fiddlers three. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's forces and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty together again.
Now do this one.
We did that one already.
Now do this one.
We did that one already. The old woman who lived in a shoe. There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do.
This is for her children.
She gave them some broth without any bread. She whipped them all soundly and sent them to bed.
You know what? This is the mother. Where is the mother?
Look at all those kids there. They all look like they're helping.
He's walking the dog. Oh, that's gonna go swing him around.
He's carrying some pails of water and he's fishing, and there's somebody walking on the
Mommy.
tightrope.
Mommy, there she is. Mommy, this shoe is upside down.
Rockabye baby.
On the treetops, when the wind blows, the cradle will rock.
When the ball breaks, the cradle will rock. When the ball breaks, the cradle will fall. And down will come baby, cradle and all.
See, I know that song for a long time. Mommy did, and now do this one.
Rub-a-dub-dub, 3 men in a tub, and who do you think they be? The butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. Turn them out, knaves all three.
Now do this one.
Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water.
Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after.
Up Jack got and home did
Jack, Jack, the time after.
as fast as he could caper, went to bed and plastered his head with vinegar and brown paper. Think that would help with her head?
Yeah, do this one first.
No, we gotta start on this page first.
Okay.
Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet,
eating her crisps
and
away.
There came a great spider and sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away.
Well, now do this one.
No, this one. Hickory, dickory, dock, the mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck one, the mouse ran down. Hickory, dickory, dock.
I had that one for a long time. Hickory, dickory, dock. Mom, that's why those are starting to eat him. He's gonna bite his finger, he's gonna bite his feet, and he's gonna bite his tail.
Little Tommy Tucker sings for his supper. What shall he eat? White bread and butter. How shall he cut it without ever knife? How shall he marry without any wife? Georgie Porgy, puddin' and pie, kissed the girls and made them cry.
Can you do this one now?
That's what we're doing. When the boys came out to play, Georgie Porgy ran away.
Can you put this one on?
We did that one already.
Or do you do, okay, you do this one first, then this one, then this one, then this one?
No, first this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. We'll always start on the left page, don't we? Wee Willie Winkie runs through the town, upstairs, downstairs, in his nightgown, rapping at the window, crying at the lock. Are the babies in their bed? For now, it's 8 o'clock. Bye, baby bunting.
Now do this one.
Daddy's gone hunting to get a little rabbit skin to wrap the baby bunting in.
He rubbed it in his shoe. Sky's turn.
Gus was a friendly ghost.
I read that book over myself.
You did. There once was a friendly ghost by the name of Gus. He lived in an old house in the country with apple tree and lilacs in the yard. Mr. and Mrs. Scott and their twins, Susie and Sammy, lived there too in the summer. The old house had an attic, and sometimes the Scotts heard rattles and clanks in it. That was Gus. The Scotts didn't believe in ghosts, so they didn't believe in Gus. Still, when they heard the rattles and clanks, they liked to say to their friends, "We've got a ghost." The Scotts made Gus feel welcome in the old house, so Gus liked them. He especially liked Mrs. Scott. She was so pretty. He wanted to please them all, so he rattled and clanked in the attic the way ghosts are supposed to do. "We got a ghost," the Scotts proudly said, though they didn't believe in ghosts. Then autumn came and the Scott family left. No needle to ring. No need to rattle and clank now. Gus had nothing to do but sit around. One day he was so lonely sitting by himself that he went for a walk, and he met a mouse. "How are you?" said Gus. "Fairly easy," said the mouse with chattering teeth.
I only read three pages of this. I didn't get that third page is finished. Because you would ask me and ask me and ask me.
"Come and spend the winter at my house," cried Gus. "Any people there?" asked Mouse. "I do hate people." "Not now," said Gus. Mouse scurried about the house. It seemed a good place to spend the winter, but it was chilly. "Let's build a fire in the fireplace," said Mouse with chattering teeth. "I'll get a match."
How do you don't get in there?
I crawled in through a hole, I think. He scurried to the kitchen, but the Scots had taken all the matches away on account of mice. "Bother," cried Mouse. Gus had never built a fire. Ghosts never get cold. But he wanted Mouse to be happy in his house, so he said some ghostly words he knew, and a fire began to blaze in the fireplace. "Well," said Mouse with delight, "let's have a bite. I'll look in the cupboard." He hurried to the cupboard, but the Scots had taken all the food away on account of mice. "Bother," said Mouse. Gus had never cooked a meal. Ghosts never get hungry. But he wanted Mouse to be happy. "Toasted cheese sandwich?" said Gus. "There isn't any," began Mouse, and he saw that Gus was slicing a big piece of cheese. Mouse was delighted. Gus was pleased that he thought of the cheese. Gus pulled the table up to the hearth. He piled 9 pillows and a chair for Mouse. Mouse enjoyed his toasted cheese. Finally, Mouse wiped his whiskers. "Which is my room?" he said. "Take your pick," said Gus. Bed will feel good, said Mouse. He scurried into the front bedroom, but Mrs. Scott had put newspapers all over the bed on account of mice. Mouse made a face. I do hate a newspaper, he said. He scurried to the back bedroom. I'll curl up in a drawer, but Mrs. Scott had put mothballs in the drawer on account of mice. Mouse made a terrible face.
Mom,
I do hate a mothball, he said.
Mom, these are eggs.
No, those are mothballs. Gus wanted Mouse to be happy in his house. Try the attic, he said. Mouse ducked into a hole in the wall that Gus showed him and found his way to the attic. He burrowed into an old mattress
Mom,
and went
tell
to
me
sleep in
what
the
these
stuffing.
are again.
Mothballs.
Moth.
She put him in there to keep the mice out. Also the moths. Gus washed the dishes. He was delighted to have Mouse in the house for company. When Mouse woke up, he scurried downstairs and said, "How do I get out of here?" "Don't go," cried Gus. "Aren't you hungry?" "What are we having for dinner?" said Mouse. Gus began to be very busy. Mouse liked his 3 meals a day with nibbles in between. So Gus put on an apron. He got out a cookbook. He looked up all the things that Mouse might like to eat. He spilled sugar all over the floor. He got flour all over his face.
For who is it?
Gus got flour all over his face.
Like, can you see his face?
He burned his fingers. He made macaroni and cheese and cheesecake. He whipped up cheese soup and cheese sauces. He baked cheese bread and cheese biscuits, cheese popovers and cheese pie.
Play ticket.
Mouse never had time to help. He was so busy with various matters. But Gus didn't mind. Mouse grew plump on the cheese sauce. At night it snowed. Mouse read to Gus by the fire. Sometimes they played checkers. Sometimes they popped corn. Firelight flickered in the old window panes and smoke curled up the chimney. No one was near to notice. But at last the snow melted, and the sun grew warm. The buds on the apple trees swelled, the lilacs burst into bloom, and one day a car drove in the yard. The Scotts were back. When Mouse heard Susie and Sammy running all through the rooms, he ducked into a hole in the wall and rushed to the attic. When he peeked out of the mattress, he saw his friend Gus. He cried angrily, "I'll scare them away." "Why? They're nice," said Gus in surprise. He was glad to see the Scotts, especially Mrs. Scott. But Mouse had been so happy in the house with Gus cooking and everything that he was furious to think the Scotts had come and spoiled it. Gus couldn't cook with Mrs. Scott in the kitchen, so Mouse scampered down into the parlor. When the Scotts were playing checkers, he ran back and forth inside the wall. Patter, 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 to scare them away. "You get a mouse," said Mr. Scott, but the Scotts weren't scared away. "What do you want to do that for?" said Gus to Mouse. Mouse paid no attention. He scampered into the kitchen. He nibbled a piece of blueberry pie and tracked the juice around. He chewed open a box of marshmallow cookies. He spilled some tapioca. On the back of him, I guess. "Behave yourself," said Gus. Mouse scampered into the bedroom and chewed a hole in the pillow for good measure. But the Scotts weren't scared away. So Mouse scurried up in the attic after the Scotts were in bed and stamped about over their heads, making all the noise that Mouse possibly could. Finally, Mr. Scott said, "I'll set a mouse trap." Next day, Mouse saw a new thing in the attic and smelled something good. He was so hungry, his nose quivered. He kept closer and closer. "Keep away," cried Gus. "It's cheese," cried the mouse. "It's a trap to catch you," said Gus. He put a sign that said, "Danger." When Mr. Scott didn't catch Mouse, he set another trap and then another. Gus kept putting up signs that said, "Beware." "Why can't you folks get along?" cried Gus.
Look out.
Mm-hmm.
And what did it say?
Danger.
What did it say?
Danger.
Stop.
But the more mouse traps Mr. Scott set, the more Mouse stamped about
No,
among the
then
danger
what
signs
did
to
it
scare the
say,
Scots away.
Mom? What did it say?
I don't know, I guess.
Yes.
Gus became really
Mommy,
worried.
I only has N and O.
You
No.
keep interrupting in the middle of the story, don't you?
It says no, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Yep, it says no.
Gus began to be really worried. He didn't want his friends, the Scots, bothered.
Away.
And he didn't want his friend Mouse hurt. "I'd never forgive myself if anything happened," he said.
Keep away.
What's this one say?
Stop.
What's this one say?
Don't do it.
That's right. Then one day, Mouse became so determined to scare the Scots out of the house that he popped up on the kitchen shelf, bold as brass. when Mrs. Scott reached for the cereal. "Help!" screamed Mrs. Scott, running away. That was the last straw. When Gus saw Mrs. Scott, who was so pretty, scared out of her wits, all of a sudden he pointed his finger at Mouse and roared, "That's enough!" Mouse was so shocked he stood stock still and stared. "Listen to me," shouted Gus. "If you stay in this house, you'll do as I say from now on." "What?" whispered Mouse.
Hey.
"You'll stop scaring Mrs. Scott," roared Gus. "Okay," said Mouse meekly.
Mom, he
"You'll
wants
stop nibbling and chewing. You can go in the garden and eat nasturtium seeds," shouted Gus.
Mom.
"Okay," said Mouse.
Mom.
"You'll keep quiet while the folks play checkers."
He's sad now.
"I'll walk on tiptoe," said Mouse. "You'll stop stamping around the attic. I'm the only one allowed to make noise in the attic." "I'll be quiet as a mouse," said Mouse. "All right," said Gus with a sigh of relief. Then he saw how meek and scared Mouse looked. "It's just till the folks go away," he said kindly. So Mouse tiptoed about the house and ate nasturtium seeds in the garden. And Scott said, "The mouse is gone." And Mr. Scott took away the traps. Gus rattled and clanged extra loud in the attic so the Scotts could say, "That's our ghost." And when the Scotts went away for the winter, Gus and Mouse had a celebration with cheese croquettes for dinner. The end.
TV went off.
Angel of God, and a dear, to whom God's love entrusts me here. Ever this night be at my side, to light and guard, to rule and guide. Amen.
Our
Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
Give us
This day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom,
Yeah.
and the power, and the glory,
Put it back
now
up.
forever.
Put
Amen.
it back up.
We're praying. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death.
Amen.
Glory be to the Father, and to the
Son,
and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is
Look
now,
how
and ever shall
big
be,
mine
world
are.
without
Mine's
end.
beyond.
In the name of the Father,
Son,
Holy
Holy
Spirit, amen. Time to go get your vitamin and time to go to bed. Oh, we so tired tonight. Too tired to go get your own vitamin? Hmm? Oh, Kyle. Hmm. You're better now. What are you better than? Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Did you have a fun time playing outside today? What did you do outside today?
Why can I asked it and she said, in the in the night she said, no, and she said, yeah, and then that's good, that's fine.
Did you bring a vitamin for
I
Hannah?
got all good.
Your toes are kind of coming out of the pajama, aren't they?
You're eating it again.
Yeah, I think those pajamas are getting too small for Kaya.
Is it Yaki or King or Sing?
Hey, these are blue ones. I think that's what we can give to Shane.
I hope you like it.
When it's getting warm where you don't need some on your feet in your pajamas anyway. Just to keep you warm enough and cover up with a blanket.
You got a blue hippopotamus.
A blue hippopotamus. That's a funny color for a hippopotamus.
But they're just putting it that color. Because that's the only color they have.
Oh. From the Mommy Kiss?
Just pink or red, whatever you want to call it, or blue or gray, whatever you want to call that color.
Hey, Mommy Kiss.
Mommy, take me to bed.
Okay. Let's go, Lazy Bones.
Lazy bones. Take me. I can sing you a twinkle eye.
You really are tired, aren't you?
Mom, I told Kara to give me one in case, to bring me one in the living room in case.
Bring what in the living room?
Okay, I'm going to tell Mom. I'm Kara. Don't read about me.
But
Mom.
hurry. Mommy will read a little bit and then you can hurry and you get your two
No,
with me.
Mom, I want to read this. I want to just read this one.
Okay.
Okay. I think
Wash your face.
has
Games. Mixed
up his
Saying.
the same now look
Words.
words what
When.
when he plays golf.
That's right. Let's look at this storybook.
Okay. My favorite pictures.
You know who made that storybook for you?
Kiri.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh, it's got a ring missing.
Mommy, I don't know where my storybook. Mommy, I don't know where my baby book.
We'll find it for you
Mommy,
someday.
I don't know where my baby book is. When I was a baby, did Kiwi make mine too?
No, Yolanda made yours.
Oh yeah.
Mommy knows where it is. She'll find it for you.
I saw Alana making hers.
Can you remember that when Yolanda was making her book?
Yeah.
What's that word say there?
Me.
Who's me?
Keisha Marie Greener. Hey, me and Marie start with M.
Mm-hmm. There you were when you were 2 weeks old, and there you must be, what, about 3 months or 4 months? And there you think you were 9 months?
And I think that was Kiri's room because I can see, because she has a blue wall.
No, it was right here in the living room.
Can I see? We're in Kiri's room.
Oh, there you were.
That's the wall here.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't the pictures there.
Well, you were right down on the floor, so the pictures probably weren't there either then. And here you were about 1 year old. Nice smiley face.
Where did Kiwi fly? Here again?
And there's your family.
My family. Mommy, Daddy.
There's your family here before you were born, and that was after you were born. Don't put that in your mouth.
Because Kai wasn't born yet. This is all about me.
Yeah, we didn't have Kaya yet then.
No.
Daddy holding you and Mommy holding you.
Dan, Dave.
And Dan holding you on his shoulders.
Mom,
And Dave holding you.
Dan's in my family too.
Mm-hmm.
Mom,
Mm-hmm.
Dan comes some of the time,
Mm-hmm.
and Dave doesn't. Dave comes and he thinks when he thinks he's done with making houses.
David comes about once a year.
Mom,
Because he's got so far to come.
Look, I got all kinds of glasses. Mommy,
Well, you sure do, don't you?
And
Here comes crawling on the hay, I think.
yeah, and this thing is old queen, but this one isn't yet.
Okay.
Mom,
Mm-hmm.
he might come for my birthday.
I don't think so.
Me either.
David, you think? That's too far. David won't come then. Some other day, though, maybe he'll come.
Kathy, Carrie. He'll bring everyone's presents that he missed.
You think so?
With their birthday that he missed. Kiwi did?
And somebody wrote all over it.
Oh, I know it wasn't me.
It wasn't. You sure?
I know it wasn't me either. Because I never write in my book.
Never.
Darren, Kara.
Darren giving you a ride there in his, combine.
No, it's a bus.
Well, he used to call it a combine when he was little.
Mommy. And there's a tractor and a combine.
And Kara was holding you when you were real little. I think you were just a few days old. And you were just fresh home out of the hospital, and it's probably your first time to hold you.
That when Kara was so little, and you would see had braids, and she looked at Keisha. I have a Jason in my class.
Yeah.
So I have a friend Jason, and I have a cousin Jason. And you guys, I going to take the same thing.
You were playing with the Easter toys there. Easter Bunny.
Jason, my playmate.
Yeah, you were both playing with the telephone, weren't you?
He would hang on to that, and I would ring in. He would ring in. He would hang on to it. And I would put it over my shoulder, and he would ring it. We always had fun together, and we still do. My grandparents. Oh, there's Grandma Creamer when I was just a wee little baby.
Yeah, you were just a few weeks older, maybe about a month old.
Here's Grandpa and Grandma holding me out between their trees.
I think that was in July, so you were in May. Let's see.
I would be about bigger than this. I'll be a little bigger than
June, so you were not even 3 months old yet there when on that picture.
Yeah.
And then this was
And my grandparents.
no, your no. That was grand. Here, just look at that word. What does that say? No. G-O-D. What does that say?
This is supposed to be Kisa,
Yeah.
you already had it, but Kisa, do you already have the Bible? No. Godparents.
Your godparents. This was the day you were baptized with your God. Don't do that. You were about a month old then.
Yeah, and this is the old chair we had down in the basement.
And that was your Davenport thing down. And then this was when you were 1 year old and they came to help you celebrate your birthday.
Yeah. And they might come to help me celebrate.
Maybe you're right there.
You know what we named this puppy? My puppy Fluff.
Mommy, look at this.
And I can still, Mom, you know why I can still remember Dixie? Because she's in this book, and someday Butch might die, but I can still remember him without him being in this book. And then we wouldn't have no dog because Dixie is dead now.
You know, Dixie used to like to play with you.
Yeah, he
Sit by your stroller all the time.
Yeah, and he used to like lick me. My dog Dixie. He's still my dog. Chicken.
Here's the ring. And loose.
Mommy,
Wait.
that's the baby kids.
Kitties.
When they were little, and a long time, they're grown up now.
Keisha's sitting up on the barn sill there with the kitties.
On the hay.
These pictures got kind of a mess, didn't they?
Here's Darren and me.
I'm curious to make you a new book someday. Maybe, huh?
You put a finger on the teddy bear. Because I like it. I just wanted to touch it to see if it was real, but it wasn't. I still
Kara
have
taking you for a walk.
I still have it up there in my room. Kara, look at you're taking me for a walk when I was just a little baby. Look, Kara.
Yep. And there you were opening your birthday card.
What birthday card?
Right here. And that was your birthday present that Carrie made that for you.
Yeah, I can still remember that. She made me this book. She made me that bear.
And Darren was talking to you when you were in the seat, and Daddy was hugging you.
Where did Daddy talking to you?
You up there?
Oh, and you want to take a picture of him.
And David was giving her a ride on his shoulders, and Danny was just holding her.
Where?
Here.
And here's my birthday. rainbow cakes just like Carrie.
Yeah, that's Kara's cake there. That's not your birthday, it's Kara's birthday. She had a rainbow cake. You had a circus cake there for your birthday.
I was 1 year old.
Mm-hmm.
That's my first birthday. All of these are just, I wasn't any number.
Well, yeah, you were some months, but you weren't a whole year.
No.
And here was your Christmas present you were opening there.
Yeah. And I wanted to touch it.
Mm-hmm.
I was smelling at you or...
You were walking in your walker, and there you were walking by yourself.
Yeah. No, without no one helping me.
Mm-hmm. No hands.
No hands.
My favorite pictures.
Okay.
Where's
No.
your jammies? Let's look at Roger Rabbit now.
Okay. Okay, don't look at... There are too many books. I want to see them.
Well, you better read it because it'll be time for bed anyway.
I want Mommy to read them.
Okay, put the washcloth down and come sit down and listen, and we'll get your jammies on afterwards.
Friend Roger Rabbit.
That's right.
Different tune.
Mm-hmm.
Who framed Roger Rabbit? A different tune.
Well, you got a bad cough, don't you?
Yeah.
Where was once a place called Toontown, where the stars of the animated cartoons lived, and anything could happen. Roger Rabbit was a toon, falsely accused of a crime. He was running from a weasel platoon patrol with the help of a detective named Eddie Valiant. Roger and Eddie hid from the weasels in the movie theater. Roger forgot all his troubles and laughed at the cartoons on the screen.
What's this?
A girl. But Eddie Valiant never even cracked a smile.
Jessica chasing him after her baby.
Breathless from laughing, Roger managed to ask, "Why aren't you laughing, Eddie? Don't you like cartoons?" Valiant shook his head. "I don't like cartoons and the useless toons who make them, and I haven't laughed at anything in years." Roger was stunned and hurt. "I'm sorry you feel that way, Eddie," Roger said. "Laughter can sometimes be the best solution to a problem." Eddie didn't answer. Just then, one of the cartoons came to an end, and Roger and his co-star, Baby Herman, appeared on the screen. "That gives me an idea," Eddie announced. "I think I'm going to visit the Maroon Cartoon Studio to ask R.K. Maroon. I have quite a feeling that he might be mixed up in all of this somehow." Roger gulped. "R.K. is a pretty tough customer," he said.
Cold.
Eddie shrugged. "If I don't come back, then neither will I," Roger interrupted, hardly believing his long ears. "I am going with you. After all, I'm the one who got you into this." The pair left the theater and headed for the Maroon Studios.
Riff?
Are you listening?
Who is going to riff? So,
Roger Rabbit is going with...
Eddie.
In the hall outside of Arcade... Oh, keep it out of your mouth. Arcade's office, Valiant paused and told his companion, "You don't have to stay if you're scared." Roger's rabbit feet almost started to run. His buck teeth chattered with fear. But he stood his ground and tried not to let his voice shake when he replied, "I'm right behind you, Eddie."
Someone reeked out shadows and rainwads down ahead.
Unfortunately, someone was right behind Roger, too, and as soon as Eddie turned his back, then someone leaped out of the shadows and bonked Roger in the head.
That's what I said. I remember.
You remember? I thought you were reading. Eddie
No,
heard...
Queso was reading.
Oh, you were just remembering, huh?
Yeah.
Eddie heard Roger fall and turned in time to see the rabbit being dragged out the door. He chased Roger's attacker, who threw the rabbit into the trunk of a big fancy car and drove away at top speed.
Yeah, there was Jessica.
When Eddie caught up to the car at the stoplight, he was surprised to see Jessica, a glamorous toon, behind the wheel. "This case gets stranger by the minute," he mused. "I thought Jessica was Roger's best friend." The light changed and the big car took off with Eddie in pursuit. Jessica parked in the heart of Toontown and ran off on foot. Eddie pulled the rabbit out of her trunk, but Roger was too groggy to help. So Eddie followed Jessica through the winding streets and back alleys. At last he cornered the beautiful toon. "Why did you bonk the bunny?" Eddie demanded. Jessica's eyes filled with tears. "It was the only way I could think of to get him out of there." And the studio was full of weasels hunting for Roger because Judge Doom was determined to get rid of him. "Don't be ridiculous," Eddie scoffed. "No one can get rid of a toon. Toons were always getting flattened by steamrollers or dropped off cliffs in their movies, but they never seemed to get hurt too badly." Jessica explained with a shudder. "Doom's invented this stuff called a dip that dissolves us into a puddle of ink. And Doom wants to dip Roger because he's the only one who can stop Doom from taking over Toontown. Won't you help us? Jessica asked with a pleading look in her perfect green eyes. Valiant shrugged. Why should he care about Toontown? Then he remembered. A dipped rabbit can't pay my fee, Eddie observed. Let's find this Doom and arrest him. I've got a feeling that the Doom's gang is somewhere near here, Jessica whispered. Suddenly the alley was alive with weasels and a horrible laugh. Boom in the darkness. You're surrounded, cackled Judge Doom, his cape fluttering like the wings of a giant bat. Soon Eddie and Jessica were tied up and taken to an abandoned gag factory. Roger will save us, Jessica shouted bravely, but Doom only laughed his terrible laugh. And Eddie couldn't help but think the gloomy judge was right. No crazy Toontown rabbit. Just then Roger burst through the factory door. Let them go, Doom, the rabbit commanded, surprised that the force was on his own voice. Didn't I tell you Roger would save us, Jessica cooed, cried.
Because was the rabbit saves them.
He does.
Uh-huh.
Eddie looked up at the sound of the weasel's giggle. Look out, he shouted to Roger as a ton of cartoon bricks were dumped on the poor rabbit from above. Doom laughed so hard his cape billowed out like a storm cloud. He was laughing so much that he didn't see Eddie slip out of the ropes that held him. Prepare to be dipped, Doom hissed to Roger and Jessica. Shall I start at your feet or your heads? Before they could answer, Eddie remembered what Roger had said about laughter. He started them all by bursting into a crazy song and dance. The words of his song were so funny that the weasels laughed themselves dizzy. Stop it, you weasels, Doom thundered. But the weasels only laughed louder, which gave Eddie a chance to dance over to the box of itching powder. He threw the whole box at the giggling guards, and soon they were too busy scratching to stop Eddie.
I didn't count how many we...
Doom bellowed with rage and lunged
I know,
for Eddie.
Kesa. I know. This would make one. These would make two. These would make four. Three. These would make three. These would make four. Mom, it's really supposed to be one, two, three, four, five. So we're missing some.
He's probably hiding somewhere. Doom bellowed with rage and lunged for Eddie, but his foot slipped on the plastic banana peel and Doom fell over the hill. Soon nothing was left except Doom's cape. Doom was a toon? Roger asked in amazement. One very evil toon, Eddie replied thoughtfully. Then he smiled at Roger. I guess some toons are good and some toons are bad. They're just like people. Not quite like people, Roger said, bopping himself with a punching bag. Eddie laughed at the beautiful ring of stars that danced around Roger's head. It felt good to laugh again, Eddie thought, as he and Roger and Jessica left the factory and walked out into the night. All done. Time for bed.
Wait, what? Just read half of this book.
Not half of it. Half of it would be here all night. But I suppose we could start here on F page. Start with frog. A frog is a small green animal that can live on land or in the water. A frog jumps from place to place on its strong back legs. From.
Mommy, he's here.
Lucy is tired from jumping rope. Lucy is tired because she jumped rope so long. I took a penny from my pocket. I took a penny out of my pocket. Our house is a long way from school. The school and our house are a long way apart. We got a letter from my aunt today. We got a letter sent by my aunt today. These are all the different ways that you can use from. In front.
From Andrew to Aaron. That could work.
That could work, yeah. Front. Snoopy is sitting in front of the bakery. Snoopy is sitting before the bakery. The front of the store has a big window. The door of the store is at the front of the store. Frost. The frost is frozen dew. On a very cold morning, the trees and the plants are covered with frost. Inside our home, there is often frost on the windows. The water in the air freezes on the cold windows. We can draw pictures on the frost. Fruit. An orange is a kind of fruit. Apples, peaches, bananas are fruits too. Most fruits grow on trees. Some fruits, like
Mommy,
grapes and watermelon, grow on vines.
I left my blanket upstairs in my bed.
Right.
How about bananas? So I know where
That's
it
wrong,
is.
Grace.
So, Mommy, so I know where it is this time.
Full. Lucy's basket is full. There is no more room in it for anything else. It cannot hold any more. Fun. The children are having fun. The children are having a good time. Funny. Snoopy is funny. Snoopy makes people laugh.
Oh, hey, in my hair.
Mm-hmm.
Front.
Fur.
Front.
The skin of many animals is covered with thick, soft hair called fur. A cat has fur. A bear has fur.
And I know what has fur. Dog.
Mm-hmm. Furry. My cat is soft and furry. Furnace.
Furnace.
The C there sounds like an S. Our home is heated with a furnace. Our home is heated with a big stove.
Mom, now we will start with O G.
We burn coal in our furnace. In some furnaces they burn oil. The furnace is usually in the basement of a house or a building. Furniture. In the house where Lucy and Linus live, there are tables and chairs. That is their furniture. Beds and desks are furniture too. Gallon. There are 4 quarts in a gallon. We took a gallon of lemonade to the picnic. Gallop. Have you ever seen a horse gallop? Have you ever seen a horse run as fast as it can? Game. Charlie Brown and his friends are playing a game. A game is played for fun. Every game has its own rules. Garden. A garden is a piece of land in which plants are grown.
Mommy,
Linus grows pumpkins and flowers in his garden.
What does this say?
It says Charlie Brown and his friends are playing a game of ball.
Gardens can actually grow food. Mom, what does this say again? Like grapes. Mom, what does this say again?
You're interrupting, Keisha.
What does it say again?
It says Charlie Brown and his friends are playing a game of ball. When we plant a garden, we plant seeds in the garden and then they grow as food.
And also grows is growing right now. Could you call these things with purple things and leaves on top?
Purple things and leaves on the top.
Yeah.
Like rhubarb?
Yeah. Rhubarb. You make rhubarb out of it. And one small one's this, one's small like this, and one's getting big. And here's the one that's almost bigger.
We got one that's that big already?
This big.
That big? Well, pretty soon we'll be able to eat some of that, won't we?
Yeah. Yum, yum. Mom, where is my webpage? I don't know where it is. It has my name on KAIA. But I don't know where it is.
Gas. The stove in our kitchen burns gas. Our meals, don't put that in your mouth, are cooked on a gas stove. Some people have electric stoves, like we do. Gas is also short for gasoline. Gate. A gate is a short door usually found in fences or walls. Gather. Mother will gather the children and take them home. Mother will bring the children together and take them home.
Gay.
That's right. Snoopy is gay. Snoopy is happy. Gentle. Linus is very gentle. Linus is very kind and nice. Gently.
Mommy, I know what this says. Snoopy's getting very happy.
He gives Woodstock a gentle pat. He gives Woodstock a soft, light pat. He pats him gently.
Mom, gay means happy.
That's right. You know what this word is?
Get. Pills.
What?
Pills.
Please.
Please get the books from me. For me. Pills.
Please.
Please pick up the book and reach school in time. If you play here hard, you get
Tired.
tired.
Don't you when you play hard?
No.
Mm.
If you play hard, you become tired.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Getting who? Getting. Linus has been getting
Better.
better. Get
Grades.
grades at school. Got.
Okay.
I got a color.
You know what you get?
Carla.
Cold.
Cold because you move away for a second. Okay. Guys getting squished. Yeah. Because I got my feet wet.
Right.
Getting
That one's giant.
a giant. That's
Getting.
my. Okay.
You can't read yet, dearie.
What is that say?
That says getting.
Getting
Mm-hmm.
a
No. Got.
got
You just are a little bit small yet to read.
tons to read. What did it say?
Giant. Now listen to
Giant.
Keisha read.
Giant
That's a gift.
gift.
Let's
Play.
Keisha read now.
What's this?
Giant.
Giant. In my storybook, there's a story about the giant
Mm-hmm.
are make
Makes believe.
make believe. Do you leave it on? Oh,
People.
people who
Mm-hmm. Were
were
supposed
to be
very
big and very
strong.
strong. One
It's not a yes. That's a what's that letter here starts with? Real.
real man is very big. He is
Sometimes called
called a giant.
I've got all the numbers of my cows except for the pen. That's
Giant.
I think it's time for bed now, okay?
Okay. Tomorrow we'll read some more.
Okay.
Well,
It's actually April 24th instead of June 2nd. For some reason, the wrong date is on this.